to go to Laguna Beach. It's a yearly conference that they have. It's called the Leadership Event, and it's once a year. You guys can qualify for it next year. It's definitely something I think you should push for because it is absolutely 100% the best Beachbody event all year long. It's a little bit more exclusive, and you're surrounded by like-minded leaders that are all at the top of Beachbody, that are sharing their stories and the things that they're doing to become successful and grow their business. And so I highly suggest that you put it on your dream board for 2014 to push for that event. I know I'm so excited. Jennifer's going to get to go for the first time. And she has no idea what she's in for, but it is just the most relaxing, most amazing group of people ever. So every single year I look forward to it. I'm really excited, but I wanted to get this call in, so I'm glad that you guys took some time on Sunday. I know for me personally, Sunday is kind of a sacred day. I spend time with my family, and so I will definitely use your time wisely and give you the best possible advice that I can before I get off the call. To give you a little background on me, I'm going to kind of do a brief story. I could make it really long, but I want everybody who is new to know that I wasn't just a superstar diamond coach when I came in this business, and I was literally a 25-year-old bankrupt, literally bankrupt bartender that had a premature baby that was 8 weeks premature with a brain bleed and 90% chance of cerebral palsy. I had no business experience. And I also, you guys have obviously an amazing upline with Sandy and Jennifer. And I had no one coming in. The person that I was above was inactive in the business. And then the person above her was inactive in the business. And the guy above her, who is my star diamond, was a founding coach that really wasn't doing the business anymore. And so I was scared to death that I needed to make something happen in my life, but yet I was stuck in a no man's land building this by myself. And I want to tell you guys about one thing that really started to change my life, and it was my daughter. So I got pregnant about 3 months into a relationship and with my now husband, and I didn't know what I was going to do when she was born premature with a brain bleed and all these challenges. We had only ever been bartenders, and you know, we had to work nights and couldn't leave her with just anybody because she had special needs. And so I had to stay home a lot of times, and I didn't know how we were eventually come out of this hole. And I remember looking at her thinking, you know, I want to tell her every single day to go after every dream she's ever wanted to live in her life. I want her, if she wants to be an astronaut, I want to tell her you can do anything. You can be an astronaut. If she wants to be a singer, I want to tell her, you know what, I don't care how bad the odds are. Like, I want you to go after it full-fledged. Whatever your heart says you're supposed to do, I really truly believe everyone is destined for something very, very unique to them, and they were born to do that. And whatever she is born to do, I wanted her to do. And then it hit me one day. And it's like a ton of bricks, and I have so many songs. Actually, Sandy played one of them that reminds me of that, because I had this moment where I realized, how could I tell her that if I wasn't living that? If I wasn't a living example of someone who is living their dreams? And one day she was going to be old enough and wise enough to turn around and ask me, like, Mom, what were your dreams? Like, and I didn't want to tell her about the dreams I had and never pursued. And then how could I ever expect her to pursue her dreams and have the courage to do so if I didn't have the courage to do so? No matter how bleak it seemed at the time. And I was literally at the lowest point in my life when she was born. And because of that, I just knew I had to do whatever it took to make this business succeed. And I didn't know necessarily that fitness and health was going to be my way to eventually make my dreams come true, because that's not necessarily what I thought my dream was. But I had to get out of this financial predicament. And so I just trusted that this opportunity had presented itself for a reason. And some of you guys might be in the same shoes. You might think like, okay, I really don't know. Like, was I really meant to be a coach in Beachbody? Like, was that going to be the thing that's going to make my dreams come true? I never thought I'd be in fitness. And I was the same way. Trust me. Like, I still to this day have to force myself to work out. I am not. I know Sandy's very, very passionate about working out. I personally am not. I'm the top coach in Beachbody. So that just goes to show anyone can do this business. But I trusted the fact that it was presented for a reason. And I also knew I didn't have a lot of avenues. So I just said, you know what? I'm not going to have an upline. So I've got to be the kind of leader I wish I would have had. And if I can go through this business and just pay special attention to the times where I think, dang it, I wish I would have figured that out sooner, or I wish I would have known that, or I wish I would have watched this video instead of 20 other different ones. Or, gosh, I keep doing the wrong post. Figuring out which ones worked and which ones didn't. And I really studied my failures. And that's what I kind of wanted to talk to you guys tonight about, because I know for me personally, my entire life, I had this ginormous fear of failure. I did not want anybody to see me fall on my face. I was so scared of failure that I literally quit everything I ever started. No, literally. I had quit guitar lessons, ice skating, gymnastics. I quit high school. For those of you who don't know that, I quit high school and got a GED. I quit college like 3 different times. Literally everything I ever have started in my life, besides Beachbody, I have quit. And that was not because of, I couldn't do it. It's just I didn't want to fail. And I feared picking something and it not being the right option. Then came Beachbody, and then came learning my why, which I just explained to you a second ago about my daughter. And all of a sudden, I started to see the value of failing. Failure is your way to be able to look back at the people that haven't made those same failures and give them the advice to help them not have to experience that same thing. There's people in life that they will see their parents smoking and they'll realize they don't want to do it because of seeing their parents smoking. And then there's people that have to try it themselves. What I want to try to do is help the people that don't have to experience it themselves to actually learn from my mistakes. And that's how you're a great leader. A great leader leads by example and teaches you how to simplify things. I pay Chalene Johnson, who is the creator of TurboFire and Turbo Jam and all these other workout programs, Chalene Extreme. She is my mentor because she's doing a lot of what I want to do in the future. And I pay her as a mentor based on the fact that she's already done what I want to do. And if she can give me some shortcuts, that's great. Understand that that's exactly what you are as a leader in Beachbody, or as even a brand new coach for your future coaches. You are simply a mentor. You're not a boss. You're not someone who's going to tell them what to do. You're going to show them what to do by your own example and give them tips based on your own experience. And so you'll hear something called the speed of the leader, the speed of the pack, and that is so true. There are so many people that are holding themselves back and their team back because they're fearing the failure, and they're not putting themselves out there, and they're not believing for bigger things in their life. And so what I will ask you to do today is to realize that these opportunities to fail are only going to push you forward. I saw somebody down here put Fail Forward, and that is one of my favorite books. And it's because it's all about every single failure is a learning experience. If you ask any millionaire or billionaire if it just all kind of rose up perfectly for them, they're going to say no. They failed so many different times. Like Donald Trump, one of the richest men, he came out of bankruptcy as well. He was somebody who lost it all at one point and had to rebuild. And so we all have to go through these phases where we have to learn from our mistakes and we have to figure out how to do it better next time. And you're going to have moments in your business where there's like peaks and valleys. Sometimes you feel like you've got it, and then it starts to just really stink, and you've got to figure out how to revitalize your business. And so I look at those opportunities now, and I know they are there to teach me something. What can I be doing differently? How can I learn from this? Or how can I rise above where I am now? You guys have to look and examine your business outside of where you are. It can be so frustrating if you stay in the moment. But if you pull yourself outside and say, what can I learn from this? Like, what is it here to teach me? As soon as you embrace what it's there to teach you, it's like you just get jolted out of the little hole and you're back to doing things great again. But I'm telling you, you will constantly be thrown challenges because it's there to grow you. It's not there to kill you or make you quit the business. And so you are only confined by the walls you build yourself. I was a bankrupt bartender. I was a high school dropout. I was completely broke with a guy I barely knew. I had every opportunity and excuse. By the way, I have 2 alcoholic parents. So I had every excuse to fail. But when you find your why, when you find the real reason why you need to succeed, when your desire to succeed is stronger than your reasons to fail, you do whatever it takes. And I knew the one person I had to work on the most, the one person I could change, had to be myself. Because I had built up all these walls of what was possible for me, and I used my past and the things that had been brought into my life as my excuse for so long. And then finally I started to look at my life and say, why did those things happen? Why did I have to experience all that? Well, I'll tell you why. If I told you guys when I got on this call that my life was perfect before this, like everything was kind of good, I had a great upline, they helped me so much, and that's why I'm number one, and things have been going really well. How inspiring is that? Not very. But when you're vulnerable and you share with people who you really are, and you share with them your failures, they feel connected to you. So if you can get out of that mindset of having to hold it all together and be perfect and be the person that you want everybody to think you are, because my gosh, I lived in that bubble for a long time. As soon as you jump out of that and you start sharing about the things that you do fear, all of a sudden people flock to you. Because you need people to see that you're normal, that you're human, and they will feel connected to you because they'll look at me, somebody that maybe sees me now and I share my story, they're like, wow, I have alcoholic parents too. And I feel connected to her because if she could do it, then maybe I can do it. That is the whole point of this business. I deal a lot with branding, and it's one of the things that I feel like I've been very strong at is branding myself, branding our team, and I'll tell you what, you can't brand to everyone. You can't make your niche market the entire world. My niche market is people who are where I was. Maybe not as bad, maybe some even worse, but there's some kind of connection with my story in them that they feel like she would get me. And out of every other coach in Beachbody, she would understand what it's like to be me, and she might be able to help me. You guys each have stories and things that have brought you to this moment in your life, whether you've been a coach for 2 years, whether you've been a coach for 2 days. It's all been for a reason, and I really, truly believe that. And I literally can look at my life now, and every experience, it threads into Beachbody. You don't have to be some fitness professional. You don't have to have it all together. You can start where you are and just figure out how all of the stuff that happened to you in the past weaves into this and into your niche market. I view Facebook sort of like a mini reality show. And so the Kardashians, for example, you may or may not like them, but you know who they are. And the people that they do market to are obsessed with them. They know each of their personalities. They know each of their relationships in and out. They follow them. They buy things that they buy, whether they're not connected to it or not. They want to do what they do. And then the other people that don't like them, whatever. They're not marketing to them anyway. Your Facebook is the exact same way. You're sharing you. You're just being yourself. And for me, I like to highlight 5 things about my life. So the things that either are most important to me and they are the core values of my life, or they're the things that in my spare time when I'm procrastinating, they're the fun things that I do. They're the things that I Google. Like Sandy mentioned, I love fashion. I love that kind of stuff. I love beauty products and trying different things. And so even though I don't sell fashion or beauty, I'm passionate about it. And therefore, I know more than most people. And if I share that advice to other people that like fashion and beauty, they're going to value the things that I post about. So my 5 things, and I would ask you to go and figure out what your 5 things are faith, fashion, and beauty, Beachbody coaching, because that's a huge part of my life. And I would almost say Beachbody coaching is almost like Beachbody coaching / entrepreneurship. Health and fitness. Did I say fashion? I can't remember. Oh, my family. That's what it is. My family. So faith, family, fashion, health and fitness, and entrepreneurship, Beachbody. Those are my 5 things. And so when I'm making a post, I'm kind of wanting them all to fit into those 5 things because the people that are following me for those 5 things. And what I'll do is I'll rotate through those 5 so that any moment, if somebody came to my page that knew nothing about me, they would know at least those 5 things within the 5 or 6 posts that they scan down. Because literally, people are going to spend a minute, maybe, on your page. If they come to your page randomly, they're going to scroll through it. And it has to be engaging and interesting for people to stay or want to friend request or subscribe to you. And so I constantly pay attention. Every morning I'll check my Facebook and I get tagged in things, or I do recognition posts that I only leave up for about 24 hours. And I'll go through and I'll hide things that don't stick in those 5 areas. If they were just funny things that I posted for that day or whatever, I will hide those things, because if somebody does come to my Facebook randomly, like a clip of the Kardashians, I need them to come in, know enough about me to decide they like me or they don't like me. And I'm cool either way. I scare people away all the time with faith posts. I lose friends all the time. But I also gain, for every friend I lose, and I've tracked this is literally, for every friend I lose to a faith post, I will gain 10 to 15 subscribers. Why is that? Because you have to be distinct. You have to have people that feel like, I really like that person for being so bold. I really like that person for sharing so much about fashion. I really like whatever that thing is for you. You have to ride the line. You know, you don't want to post about politics too much and like burn a bunch of bridges, and that, like, if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you're splitting basically 50% of your Facebook doesn't like you. But when it comes to things that you really have hardcore beliefs in, it's okay to ride the line and be who you are and not have to be like Miss Perfect. So one of the things I also wanted to mention about reality TV shows is there is a TV show called The Biggest Loser. I'm sure you've seen it. And I used to be the biggest fan of The Biggest Loser. I watched every episode, every season, and I was obsessed with that show. Why? Well, because I love transformations, and I love watching the show and seeing the people, and I would cry every one. And this is both for a personal page and business page. I only really use my personal Facebook page. And that's not because business pages don't work, but for me, every time I went on to do my business page, I was like feeling like I should have to do a salesy post, and I just wasn't good at it. So if I'm on my personal page, since you can have unlimited subscribers, I just tend to be more myself, and that's just me. I know people like Brigitte Linford, she has Forward Fitness as her business page and does really well with it. So I'm not saying they don't both work, but it just happens to be what works for me. So Biggest Loser, I used to watch it religiously, but then what happened is it was like every time they went into this kitchen, they were doing an ad for some obvious company that paid them to sponsor them or, you know, to promote their stuff. And so they'd be like eating a bowl of cereal, talking about the, Cheerios and all the stuff in it, and that it was good for you. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And at first it was like, okay, I understand, you get endorsements and things like that. But then it just got ridiculous. And so eventually I just stopped watching. Understand, you guys, some of you are guilty of doing the same thing. And as soon as I realized that annoyed me, I stopped doing that with my Facebook page. And so, yes, I still promote Beachbody because it is one of my 5 things. But I do more of like a sharing stories or sharing transformations. It's not like I'm posting, here's the promo for the month. It's the new challenge pack of dance, da-da-da-da-da. And here's my link to go buy it, and thanks for buying from me. That's what I see a lot of coaches doing. Pay attention to what would sell you. Because I know for me, I see a lot of Beachbody coach posts, and a lot of them, number one, are the same. They're just repeat posts from other coaches. Maybe Beachbody, our Team Beachbody4Lyfe posted something, and then everybody shares the same post. But would that sell you? Like, did that sell you if you ever saw a post like that before you became a coach and you saw people promoting just sales? Did that ever sell you? Probably not. So every time I'm about to make a post, I'm thinking, what would I think of this post if I saw it third party? Would I engage with it? Is it something that I would answer if it's a question? If it's a story, would it stand out to me? Does it seem salesy? Or just does it seem inspiring, which is what I want? And yes, you can do call to action. So like I will once a month do a call to action about coaching. I'll say, I'm adding a couple people to my team. I'm going to be taking applications for coaching. If you'd be interested in being a part of my apprentice group, fill out this application. But that's literally like once a month. Because remember, when I said Biggest Loser did it once in a while, it wasn't so bad. I didn't mind it. And I was like, okay, I totally understand why they're doing it. They're running a business. But when it got to be like, okay, every post is basically leading up to a sale, it's like, gosh, I don't want to watch the show anymore. So don't have people tune out because you're trying to sell too much. You will inspire and compel people to join your challenge if you do it the right way. If you are sharing stories and if you are obviously being a product of the product yourself, it makes a huge difference. People will be compelled to change. Just through your consistency of sharing your story and other people's stories, that's not annoying. It's annoying when you post links and it comes across too salesy. So I hope that makes sense. Focus on adding value. I want to put that in there because anything that you Google, let's say, and you found a great for me. If I find a great sale or I find some really cool way to organize your closet and I share that. If I found value in it, likely my audience will find value in it. So think about that when you're posting. Does it add value? Are you posting a recipe? Because people love healthy recipes. Are you posting a tip that you found out about fitness that's helping you to be able to complete your workouts? Or what mindset did you have when you first started programs to be able to get past that first 2 weeks where normally you would have quit? What was the difference maker? That's the stuff people want to know. And the more you start to do that, the more you brand yourself as the expert, and the more people will come to you. Because they will feel like they trust you. That is the biggest thing you guys need in your market is people's trust. And the way you gain people's trust is that you continue to add value without ever being a salesy, gimmicky, icky salesperson. All right. Challengers to coaches. This is a question that I got right before the call, so I don't have anything covered on, but I'm going to go right from my very own little notes and process to go exactly what I do on my own challenges and with my new coaches. That works like a charm. And I'm also going to tell you how I get my new coaches started and have them have success instantly. So let me have a sip of water and I will continue. All right. So you've got people in your challenge and they are starting day one. Obviously on day one, if you've never done a Beachbody program, they trusted you enough to join your challenge they've seen maybe your results or they've seen some of your challengers' results, and it gave them enough hope that maybe possibly this is something that can work for them. But they still doubt, number one, they're going to complete it. Number two, that it's going to work for them. And so they wouldn't make a very good coach because obviously they don't have a lot of belief in themselves and they don't have a lot of belief in the product. So they get going, and you as their coach are breathing life into them. You're expressing the same things that you had to express to yourself when you were going through the program initially, sharing, how you overcame those days where you just didn't feel like doing it and how to stay encouraged and motivated. And so they make it 30 days in. And let's say 30 days in, they have lost, all around maybe 5 or 6 inches, and they've lost maybe 5 pounds. They're seeing some results. They're getting really excited. They're maybe posted a couple times on their Facebook about it, just sharing that they had completed their workout, but nothing huge. And they post their day one next to their day 30, and you can see a slight difference. They're not at their goal yet, but they are getting there. And the biggest thing I would say changes in the first 30 days is your mindset, right? Because you're surrounded by people who believe in you and who are also on the same journey, and you're starting to really see yourself start to make some changes. And you've already overcome some of the days that you maybe didn't want to work out, but you actually did it anyway. And so at the 30-day mark, when I see someone that is really starting to flourish, and I can tell that they've been engaging in all of our posts, and maybe they're encouraging other challengers, at that time, I like to do what I call plant a seed. I plant a seed that they would make a great coach. And so maybe it's that I comment on their 30-day picture and say, oh my gosh, so-and-so, you look absolutely phenomenal. One day you're going to make an amazing coach. Yes, sort of bold, but it's true. If you finish a program, there's no way you're not going to become a coach, in my mind at least, because it would be silly not to. If you're going to continue with the product, it only makes sense at least that you would be a discount coach. Or I will message them and be like, you know, your 30-day results are sick, and you could be saving $30 on Shakeology. Have you ever considered becoming a coach? Or I would say something like, hey, you know, I was just thinking about it. Would you ever consider to be an apprentice coach for my next challenge? Because you're so engaging with the other challengers, and you're basically doing what I already do, but you're not getting paid for it. And that just plants the seed that coaching may be a thing for them now, maybe a thing for them later. But I am grooming them to become great coaches. And some of my challenge assignments are to have them post on their wall, or tell a friend that doesn't know they're doing this that they're doing it, so that they have that personal accountability. And so I'm trying to get them to start engaging and share their journey with people. I'm saying it's for accountability, which it is, but it's also for them to put themselves out there and realize, because when they post something about P90X on their wall, what happens? We all know, like initially when you do it, everybody starts posting on like, oh, I own that program, I haven't finished it. And that's when you say like, oh, well, if you're doing the program, why don't you do the challenge next month and you can do it with me? And so I'm trying to figure out how I can have them see the coach within. And then by day 60, over the next little bit, they're now an advocate for this program. Because if you have stuck with it for 60 days, you have a belief in the product, and then you also have a belief in yourself. And if I planted that seed at day 30, by day 45, the seed is sprouting above the soil, and at day 60, it's starting to blossom. And what I'll do is, like a lot of times right before a challenge ends, we'll start talking about what we can do next. And if they say they're going to do another program, or they say they're going to do that one again, that's when I'll mention the whole thing about being an apprentice coach in my next challenge, and explain to them that they're not going to have to go do it on their own, that they're not going to be thrown to the wolves and have to figure out some random business, that there's a very step-by-step process that I'm going to put them through. And so that kind of makes them feel a little bit more comfortable, because I'm like, hey, this is going to be exactly the same thing you just went through, except for you are going to be the apprentice coach, and you're just going to be more encouraging, and you're going to be focused on your own journey and maybe help one or two of your friends go through the same journey you just went through. I'm like, oh, okay, I could probably do that. I'm like, all right, well, here's what I want you to do. You're going to post this post, and you can change it up to sound however you want it to be, but a lot of my niche market is a lot like me, and so they talk similar. And they'll post a post that says, I'm so excited. Yeah, I just got chosen to be an apprentice coach in my coach's next bombshell challenge. It starts whatever date. It's the same challenge that just helped me lose such and such amount of weight, or how many inches, or go from a 16 to a size 10, or whatever their thing was, their experience with it. I'm also allowed to select 2 people to join this challenge with me. If you'd be interested in the details, like or comment this post below. And so from that post that they post on their wall, then every person that likes or comments on it, I help direct them and give them the details that I give people about the basics of a challenge group. And maybe let's say they get 10 people that like or comment on it, and of the 10, 2 people decide to actually join the challenge once they find out it actually costs money. And then once they have those 2 people, let's say they became a coach, this is exactly how I get a coach started. Let me tell you what I used to do. I used to send people through the Coach Training Academy in the back office. I used to send them through a 30-day coach camp, which had like 30 videos that all of our leaders had put together. And both have amazing, amazing information. And I was like, there's no way nobody won't be able to succeed with this amazing program we put together and all this information. And then what happened? None of them went through it. Nobody finished it. And there was only those few people that were crazy that went through it all. And I was like, gosh, I just don't understand. Like, how could they not go through all of it? That's what I did. And here's the deal. Just like when you get a program in the mail, like P90X, if you get it and you realize, oh gosh, you're excited for the results, but you get the program, you open it, there's a nutrition guide, and there's all these options. Should you do the lean version? Should you do classic or double? Gosh, what day do I start? Oh man, the nutrition plan, there's like 3 different options. I don't know, I don't really know what I should be doing, and I'm not a really good cook, so a lot of these meals look difficult. I don't know if I can do that. Well, okay, so maybe I'll start next Monday, and then Monday comes, and you're like, today's not really a great day. I don't have time to read through all that stuff and everything, so I'll just wait till tomorrow. And then it's Tuesday, and so you're like, okay, well, you know, Monday's really the best day to start workout program, so I'll just wait till next Monday. Plus, I have that birthday coming up. Yeah, I know, there's that birthday on Saturday, so I should probably wait. I'll wait till next Monday, and then I'll start. Sound like familiar to anybody? Because that was totally me. Same thing people do with coaching. They procrastinate it so bad because they look at it and there's all this information. They're like, oh gosh, you know, wow, if I just start a video and I can't finish it, then I might as well not start. And so what I'm having my coaches do now, and honestly, I know for 100% fact this is why I'm currently number one at Beachbody, is because I've had the most success with getting my coaches started right. I call them my 3 milestones. So let's say I just took you guys through how I get someone to become a coach once they're a customer of mine in the challenge. So they just became a coach. I just had them post that post about being an apprentice coach. They had the 10 people that responded. 2 decided to sign up. They got challenge packs. My first milestone was them to get 1 to 3 challengers. I tell them, okay, my next challenge group starts. I try to do it 2 to 3 weeks from now, from when they sign up. We got the 2 challengers. They're going to be in the group. Well, if they sell 2 challenge packs, now they're at 4 Success Club points. And so what I tell them, I'm like, oh my gosh, you have 4 Success Club points. If you get 1 more Success Club point, you're going to be in Success Club 5. And also, Beachbody started the Success Starters program, where if you get 3 months, your first 3 months in Success Club, you're going to get a free summit ticket to Vegas next year. And you'll be able to go with us and the whole team to Las Vegas, and your ticket's going to be completely free. And they're like, oh my gosh, really? How do I do that? How do I get another point? And I'm like, okay, well, you've got, you know, these 10 other people that responded. Maybe we'll come up with another post that you can post about the challenge, or we can follow up with those other people. I can help you, you know, to go through the messages that you're sending them, to send them what I would send them, so I can help you get familiar with how I deal with objections. And so I will help them and make sure they get that last point, because I want them to feel instant success. It's just like when you guys start the program for the first time, and the first week you lose like 1 or 2 pounds, you're psyched. You're in. Because you lost a couple pounds. You saw somewhat kind of results. It's nothing that's going to be mind-blowing. Nobody else is going to notice it. But because you knew you made some kind of result, you're excited to continue. I need my coaches to immediately experience the same thing. And so, after I get them those 1 to 2 challengers, or 1 to 3 challengers, then I have them get those that last point for Success Club, and then I focus on Emerald. And when we talk about Emerald, I say, you know, if they have a spouse, I'll explain the way that spouses help your business in the long run, how much money my spouse, Billy, makes $2,000 a week doing nothing with his own business, just simply because of how I placed him in the very beginning. And I tell them about the benefits of how they can do that and how to best do that. And then if they have a best friend, or they have a parent that would be interested, or if they're one of their challengers they think would make a great coach, we'll talk about doing that. I don't rush it. So if they don't have someone like that in their life, I'm not going to be like, oh, no, we have to figure out how to get you to Emerald this first month. That's not really my main initiative. The thing I'd like to do first, the first month, is to get them the 1 to 3 challengers and get them to Success Club. I know if they experience those 2 things, they are going to be excited about month 2. And they will hit Emerald that month, because it'll be 30 days into their challenge, and I'll help them to plant those seeds and to have those people transfer from customer to now coach. And we'll go through the exact same process with each of their customers turns coach. And I tell them initially, as soon as they see that back office, look, I know you're going to see that, and you're going to be totally overwhelmed, and you're going to think, I can't do this. But I want to tell you right now, I don't need you to know any of that. When it's time for you to know it, I will promise you, I will show you exactly how to learn that stuff the easiest way possible. And that's all really your coaches want, is to be reassured that this is simple, that you're going to guide them through it, that you're going to make it as easy as possible for them, that you've been through it already, and that you're never going to leave their side. And that's what I try to make people feel, whether they're my customer or whether they're my coach. If they're my customer, I'm baby stepping them the same way I needed to be talked to when I first went through P90X. All the doubts that I felt, all the struggles, having a new baby and not, you know, having to make time 60 minutes a day, having to deal with the nutrition side of it. And so you guys are basically you're talking to people that are where you used to be in every aspect of the way. In every aspect of the way. From your people on your Facebook that are following you that are not customers or coaches yet, for your customers and for your coaches. Which brings us back to what I said before. You are confined only by the walls you build yourself. Some of you guys are stuck. Maybe you're stuck at Emerald. Maybe you're stuck at Diamond. You're stuck because you're attracting people who are where you used to be, and you're not moving forward from where you are. You're not growing your belief that you're meant for bigger things. You get around people like Jennifer and Sandy, and you feel insecure because you don't feel like you quite add up to them. You're not where they are. That's a problem. The best thing I've ever done for my life in the past 3 years as a coach, the number one trick of my trade, the thing that has been the most impactful, has been personal development. If I was the person I used to be 3 years ago, I would not be talking to you guys today. No way. I had to overcome limiting mindsets. I had to believe that I was meant for bigger things. I had to believe that I deserved to have success. I had to believe that I wasn't just doing this for money, that I was actually bettering other people's lives, which comes into play with that quote that you see there. Success will be determined by will be direct reflection of the number of lives you change. Can't say my own quote. It's very true. You won't make any money in this business unless you're helping other people succeed. And money is not the root of all evil if you're using it for good. So don't look at people like they're dollar signs. If you're helping people, if you're really helping them take their lives to the next level, whether that be spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, you deserve to be compensated for that. And honestly, if you don't believe you should be where I am or where Sandy is or where Jennifer is, you're not going to get there. But why don't you? Everyone deserves that. Everyone deserves to be where I am today, where you have freedom to live your life the way you want to be. It's just a matter of you figuring out how you can add value. And if you don't feel like you have that value yet, you need to dive into personal development like crazy. Make it your frog. So there's a book called Eat That Frog, and it talks about doing the one thing that you avoid doing the most, very first thing in the morning. Make that personal development, because I'm telling you right now, as a top coach in Beachbody, that it's the number one thing that I do every single day, without fail. And yes, Scottie Hobbs is also a crazy person about personal development. Funny enough, number 5 in Beachbody. It's not some fake thing we're talking about. It's honestly life-changing, because it teaches you to believe bigger than where you've ever experienced. How do you get somewhere that you've never been before? How do you have success you've never had success before? It's about believing that you can be there, seeing yourself. It's visualization. And so a lot of people will focus on what they believe their potential is, and based on their potential, they'll take action. And then let's say they have little potential in their mind, then they take little action. And if they take little action, they're going to get little results. And when they get little results, it's going to feed into their belief, and they're going to say, you know what, honestly, I knew I wasn't going to do very good at this business. And when they believe that, it's going to lessen their potential. Because they believe if they have less potential, they put in less action. And when they put in less action, they get even less results. And when they get even less results, now their belief is like, yeah, you know what, honestly, this is just ridiculous. Nobody wants to join my business. Nobody wants to join my challenge. I can't sell a single thing. I can't even get Success Club. Like, I can never hit Success Club. It's so hard. And because you believe that, you believe you have less potential, you take less action, you get less results, until eventually you quit. Here's how you change that. If you wake up every single day and you believe and you close your eyes and you see yourself as a top coach, you see the leaderboards coming out, and you see yourself, oh my gosh, I'm in the top 25. Or, oh my gosh, it's easy to hit Success Club for me. Everybody's simply attracted to me. I'm putting out these waves of who I am, and I am attracting people that are ready for change. I am seeing myself find people that are ready to be leaders in Beachbody. And you start to visualize that happening in your life every single day. Because you start to believe, you start to see that you have more potential. And because you believe you have more potential, you take more action. And because you take more action, you get more results. And when you get more results, it feeds into your belief and says, all right, I got this. I can do this. I think I can push myself to get Success Club 10 every month. And because you believe that and you have more potential, you take more action. And when you take more action, you get more results. And when you get more results, it feeds into your belief, and now you believe even more. And you start to push yourself. It becomes almost like a game, because as your belief grows, you feel you have more potential. And when you feel you have more potential, you take more action. Some of you guys are simply just not taking action because you don't believe yet that you have the potential. We all have the ability to take the same exact amount of action. You could be doing the exact same things I'm doing. It's not hard. But you got to believe that it's possible for you. And I know it is. I know it is. If you knew my entire story, you would know anyone can do this business. So I will throw it back to Sandy. I do have some quick time-saving tips for those of you who are actually, at the place where you're running a business. Number one, you've got to start using Google Documents. If you're not using it already, it's the best form that I've found to save all of the links to things that I constantly send people. So if I constantly send people T25 challenge packs, or to be a coach, or to sign up as my free customer, or to buy Shakeology, I save all those links so that they're always up on one of my tabs on my computer, so I can copy and paste it without going to coachingcodes.com and putting all my info in and finding the link and all that every single time. I have my links to YouTube videos that I like, or my own YouTube videos. I have scripts for what I send people when they ask me the same questions most of the time, which you're going to find, even if you're new, you're going to get a lot of the same questions, a lot of the same objections. And so you have to have those things readily accessible. You will save your life and so much of your time by having something that you can go to all the time. It's always open, just to copy and paste into people. And then you kind of change the words up to make sure that it goes to the person that you're addressing. But that has saved my life. And then I have a thing called, for those of you who are not very good at organization, it's called PlannerPad. It's plannerpad.com. It is the only thing that has worked for me for organization. And that's because I used to be planner obsessed, and I would buy a new planner like every month, and I would use it for a week, and then it would get lost, or I would never open it again. And so I got really excited about organization, but I just wasn't good at it. What I got was this planner pad. It's a desk pad that goes on your desk, and you can write all these different columns of call schedules, or new coach prospects, or new customer prospects. And you'll see it if you go online. I don't have any pictures of it right now, but it is the only thing that's worked for me because I can't put it away. I can't lose it. It's really big, and I can use all kinds of colors to coordinate things. So it works really well for me for dealing with keeping track of people, and it's simple. It's not very high tech, and if you're an emerald personality where you are really good at organization, it might be not enough for you if you really like to document everything. But for me personally, I need as least as possible. I just need the simple things and to be able to highlight things off my list as I go, and it works amazing. So those are my 2 tips for organization and making this business simple. Always keep it super simple. The more simple you can make this, the better, because it is all about duplication and being able to not only do it yourself, but to have anyone who joins your team be able to do it if they so choose. Because obviously you guys can't help people that aren't ready to be helped. But keep your eyes focused on the people that are ready to change. Always focus on changing yourself first and foremost. And do your personal development without fail. I promise you, you will look back a year from now as a completely different person and think, wow, anything literally is possible. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your time on a Sunday night, and I can't wait to do it all again.
Hey guys, I'm back. Thank you so much. I know we really, really appreciate Lindsay's time. Thank you so, so much. I mean, I have notes galore. Took lots of notes, so excited. All the information, there was just so much of it, such valuable information. So I really appreciate your time, and I know everybody does too.